I'm Michiel Geldenhuys, I'm the head chef here at Zeitz MOCAA events. So for WOZA at home, we're doing a little 3-course at-home restaurant vibe or date night vibe. We'll be doing a little canopy of trout or tartar of trout with Sriracha mayo, lime and onion. We're doing a play on a little pumpkin soup. We do a whole roasted pumpkin. We cut into little segments, roast the pumpkin seeds and do a pumpkin soup. And then for the main course, we do barbecue roasted chicken with braised leeks, exotic mushrooms, pea puree, and a little bit of micro flowers and micro leaves. So I really hope you enjoy it. So here we have our little canopy starter or our canopy snack. So at the bottom we've got some crushed ice with a little bit of rock salt just to keep it nice and cold. We have a lime cut in half just to bring some acidity. So when you pick it up, you can squeeze the little lime just to make sure that some of that juice gets released. We've got a trout tartar here, infused with a little bit of Sriracha mayo. Over the top we've got just little trout roses, some salad onions, sliced salad onions, and then purple basil over there. So you just pick it up, lick it off the lime, get a little bit of that acidity, helps you cleanse your palate, and you're ready for the starter. So one of the things I love about this little canopy is just how simple it is to make it up. So basically, all you do is you take a little lime, trim off the edges, top and tail them, cut them in half, just to make sure that they're more or less the same size and that they don't wobble. You chop up a little bit of your favorite preserved fish, whether it's trout, whether it's smoked salmon, whether it's mackerel or tuna. Chop it up, mix it with a little bit of mayo. In this case, I use a tiny splash of mayonnaise, a little bit of Sriracha, just to give it a little bit of a kick. Get a tiny mold, or just shape it with 2 spoons with a cornell. Pop it on top. Garnish it with a couple of nice little fine herbs, whatever you have available. Remember to squeeze it just to get a little bit of acidity from the lime. Pop it in your mouth. So one of the reasons I use trout is because it's one of the most sustainable options currently for chefs out there. Overfishing is a real problem. So if I can make a call out to anybody buying fish, whether it's wholesale or retail, please buy from the green list. Orange if you have to, but green if you can. Trout, we've got some fantastic trout farms up there in Stellenbosch. It's such a beautiful fish. Although I love salmon and I love cooking with salmon, trout has to be one of the better options if you are buying local, if you want to support local farms. So yeah, try and be sustainable when you buy fish, and always think about the environment that you leave behind. Just think about the earth, the fact that we've been living on this earth for 14 point something billion years, and it's been like the little engine that could. So let's not mess it up by being stupid. So everybody has their favorite vegetables. Mine has to be pumpkin, or one of mine has to be pumpkin. I remember when I was still a young lad, when my grandmother used to make pumpkin cookies with cinnamon sugar, and just the texture and how light they were, and it was just one of the best things visiting my grandmother's house. So this is slightly different. I do like the concept of using everything. In the meat world, we talk about from snout to tail. Here we talk about from stem to seed. So we roast the whole pumpkin, segment it later on, roast the seeds with it inside, just to make sure that all those essential oils from the pumpkin seeds actually cook into the pumpkin, basting it almost like fat would on a rotisserie. Taking the offcuts with the skin, cooking that down, blending that up into the soup with a little bit of milk and cream, cold infusing milk just to give a little bit of different texture. The soup can be quite one-dimensional, I find, and using the one slice of pumpkin just gives you that beautiful contrasting texture of what is wonderful about a roasted pumpkin and what is wonderful about pumpkin soup. You also get a little bit of crunches, a little bit of crunch from the seeds, and then also a couple of little microgreens just to keep it nice and fresh and looking beautiful. So for our starter, we have a whole roast of pumpkin. So it's a little bit of a play on the wintry pumpkin, such a versatile vegetable from little canapes you can do all the way through to pumpkin pie. Decided to use this for the starter. Do a whole roasted pumpkin, so you just cut it into little segments, leave the seeds in, roast the seeds with it, so it just sort of bastes and gets all that lovely oil infused into the pumpkin. Slice it up, get some of the leftover pumpkin pieces, cook it in a little bit of milk and cream, blend it up. Then I did a cold infusion of milk with nutmeg just to add a little bit of flavor, and then just garnish it with a couple of micro leaves like rocket. So to just give you a little bit of insight insight into the creative process, we're right next to the harbour here where the boats come in and out every single day. So the idea behind this was to sort of mimic a little boat or a little sailboat coming into the harbour, the foam of the ocean here, which is the milk foam, and then this beautiful warm water, which we don't have here, but a little bit of a contrast, just to almost think that what would I want if I went to when I went for a dip in the harbour? What is the one thing that I would want to come home to? And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be this, because it's just so hearty and light. It's everything that Cape Town is. It's beautifully seasonal. Yeah, it's just it tastes of that. So one of the reasons I use little micros is just because they're so nutritious. Just like one little pinch is, in terms of micronutrients, is so much more dense in nutrients than a fully grown plant, because it's literally these little seedlings that pop up. So they're so dense in nutrition. That's why it's so nice to use little micro herbs, whether it's pea shoots or little purple basil like we have here, blood sorrel, some edible flowers, put a little bit of bok choy or baby bok choy, just all good. Just use lots of herbs in as much cooking as you can. Just full with antioxidants, helps you break down protein. So good question in terms of which is better, keeping vegetables for longer in your fridge or freezing them. So the longer it stays in your fridge, the less nutritious it becomes. Because basically what happens is the plant is actually dying as it stays in, the longer it stays in your fridge. So that means it's using the nutrients available to itself to sort of try and revive itself as much as it can. That's why blast freezing locks in the nutrients, and also freeze drying, which they do use for astronauts and other quite long exhibitions where in space. They freeze dry the vegetables and the chicken and everything, locks in all the nutrients, absolutely nothing wrong with it. So they can move it or ship it for long periods of time, or keep it for long periods of time without perishable ingredients going off. So with regards to frozen vegetables, there's absolutely nothing wrong with our trusty McCain. But yeah, just eat as many vegetables as you can. Good fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber. Is an Asian. It's a mixture between, I would say, cabbage and spinach. Beautiful nutrients, very similar to kale, very similar to baby spinach. But I used bok choy here just because it has a lovely crunch. There's a little. If there's one little thing about the dishes, it lacks a little bit of crunch. The reason I didn't add the crunch is because, generally speaking, you have to add too much fat. This is quite a lean dessert. I mean, quite a lean main course, because I feel that in winter people tend to pick up the extra unwanted kilos, and just to make sure that you track every single day, and just keep awareness in terms of what you're eating is very important. And eating vegetables like bok choy is just amazing. Whether it's in soups, whether it's in ramen, broths or stews, just add it. I feel that a lot of people don't really understand leafy greens. They tend to cook it. I know from a potjiepos. Looking at from the Afrikaans point of view, we tend to cook the buggery out of all vegetables and everything goes into the meat. Cook it for 8 hours and it's just horrible. So I know we're not talking about potjie at the moment, but treat the vegetables. Last minute is always best. You want to cook it really quickly, unless it's a root vegetable where you want to give it a little bit longer time. But leafy greens like okra and spinach, it's best when it's cooked really quickly. So keep all the nutrients inside, keep most of the flavor, keep the color, and just enjoy it in the best form possible. If you're going to eat vegetables, eat it the right way. So quick little flash cooking. So one of the things I love most about working here at Zeitz is just being constantly inspired by the incredible architecture, by incredible paintings and sculptures downstairs. I remember doing the William Kentridge dinner here. We literally took straight inspiration from his paintings, and whether it was charcoal that he used or whether it was using the little flowers like the bouquet still works that he did, where he was inspired by the grass fields in Johannesburg or flower pots in some way, just making it part of the food in a unique way that would speak to the guest and just inspires the kitchen when they cook it every day. So there's also these bursts of colors of green and brown and pink, which reminds me of one of the amazing pieces we have downstairs of the Night of the Long Knives, with this incredible range of balloons where the color just pops and you can't help but just don't really know where to look. And it's just so much fun to be able to tap into that, even though it's not really yours, just to go downstairs, have a walk around, and just have the ideas and the creativity come when you least expect it. Thank you for cooking with us for WOZA at home. Follow the recipes, use what you have at home. Remember that in these difficult times, appreciate the people that are with you. Treat them with something special like this. You see how easy it is to be creative. Use everything that you have at home. We can't wait to welcome you back. We hope that will be as soon as possible. And just know that every time you visit Zeitz MOCAA, we will greet you with a smile and the best service that you can have in Cape.